And the fact that Schiff hasn't blinked since 1992. And he didn't take the news so well. The disgraced Democrat went on TikTok to complain. Behold.
Hello, I'm Congressman Adam Schiff with some troubling news. Today, Kevin McCarthy removed me from the House Intelligence Committee, all for doing my job, for holding Trump accountable and standing up to the extreme MAGA Republicans.
Senator Schiff, given the ongoing political tensions and Trump's actions toward his critics, do you think President Biden's preemptive pardons turned out to be more important than initially expected? Let's first tell people what that means, preemptive pardons. That was pretty unprecedented, right? Before he left office, Joe Biden pardoned you and a number of people who he thought Trump would go after.
No, I take the opposite view. I don't think he should have given the pardons at all.
Really?
No, I don't think he should have, and I was vocal about that at the time.
Can you refuse a pardon?
That's less clear because in the case of the January 6th committee, he pardoned essentially the whole committee.
There's a certain kind of politician who just won't go away, no matter how many scandals pile up or how many times they're caught bending the truth. They keep crawling back like political cockroaches. Adam Schiff is the poster child for that. But here's the twist. People are finally catching on. Bill Maher, hardly a MAGA cheerleader, grilled him on live TV. And Greg Gutfeld went nuclear, delivering not just a roast, but a full-blown demolition of a career built on smoke, mirrors, and shameless grandstanding. Schiff's act is wearing thin, and voters are starting to see through it. So if you're tired of watching politicians lie with a straight face and get rewarded for it, hit that subscribe button, because it's time to break down how the zombie congressman became public enemy number one.
Let's stop talking about Trump. We talk about him too much. We want to tell people what we're going to do for them. Healthcare, environment, those kind of issues. For example, I've seen you on TV a lot in the last couple of years. I know everything you know, or that you tell us, about the Russian situation. I don't have a clue what you think about healthcare. I've never heard it. Yeah. I don't know whether you're for Medicare for all, or improve Obamacare, or get a chicken. I don't know what. Yeah. Well, I don't know what.
Not to Republicans, but to everyone who still gives a damn about honesty in politics. Let's start with the pity party Schiff threw for himself on TikTok. Yep.
Not just to Republicans, but to anyone who still cares about honesty in politics. Schiff's behavior is insulting. Take the pity party he threw for himself on TikTok. Yes, TikTok. The same platform tied to the Chinese government that lawmakers constantly warn us about. There, in his best "I'm the victim" voice, Schiff whined about being removed from the House Intelligence Committee, claiming it was all for doing my job, for holding Trump accountable, and standing up to extreme MAGA Republicans. Give me a break. That's not why he got booted. He was axed because he spent years selling the country a story, Trump-Russia collusion. That turned out to be total fiction. Schiff swore up and down he had evidence of Trump conspiring with the Kremlin, repeating it so often he probably convinced himself it was true. But the problem is, he never produced that evidence. Not once. It was all political theater. And when the curtain finally dropped, the whole performance was exposed as a lie.
Adam Schiff is not only a stone-cold, hopeless loser, but he is one of the most corrupt, one of the most shameful, one of the most heinous individuals ever to serve in public office in America. And everything he's devoted his life to has been debunked, discredited, and discarded. He literally represents the face of failure.
And instead of owning up to his failures, Schiff went full gaslight, claiming he was being punished for standing up to Trump. No, he was being held accountable for misleading the entire country. And there's a big difference. Bill Maher wasn't buying it either. Maher, who isn't exactly soft on Trump, is at least consistent about calling out BS wherever he sees it. And when Schiff sat down with him, Maher dropped the hammer. I've heard you talk about Trump and Russia for years, but I've never heard you say anything about healthcare or what you're actually doing for Americans. Ouch.
Now it just looks like you're stalking him. I think in the eyes of the people who don't follow it that closely, which is most of the country, here's the thing about Bob Mueller. He's like the last person, maybe the last thing in America that left and right agreed on. Left and right basically agreed. This is a guy of honor. This is an honest guy. This is an honest broker. Whatever he says goes. Americans are not into details. Don't read it to me, Bob. Just give me a thumbs up, a thumbs down. The fact that he was like, I don't. If you couldn't impeach before, how are you going to impeach after?
Maher basically exposed what everyone's been thinking. Adam Schiff has no real accomplishments, no legislative wins, no concrete policies. Just years of obsessing over impeachment like a deranged Reddit poster who sees a deep state conspiracy in every shadow. And while Schiff was busy chasing those fantasies, real issues, rising costs, immigration, public safety, and even a looming pandemic were ignored, leaving Californians and the rest of the country to pay the price for his political theater.
I mean, the Mueller report is, at the end of the day, that firecracker that goes up and then the one that fizzles. Oh, look, nothing. Do you think you guys relied too much on that?
Real problems were unfolding in early 2020. COVID was silently spreading into the U.S., hospitals were bracing for impact, and everyday Americans were about to face one of the toughest crises in modern history. Yet instead of focusing on the looming threat, Schiff and his allies were still obsessing over Trump, dragging the country through another round of pointless hearings that accomplished nothing. Greg Gutfeld didn't let that slide. He went savage, calling out the absurdity of a politician so fixated on political theater that he ignored the storm about to hit his own constituents.
But something's got to be done for Adam Schiff, because he created 3 years of a massive fallacy that did so much damage to this country and made us miss probably one of the most important stories of our lifetime. We were having hearings on impeachment while the coronavirus was exploding. We talked about that virus in green rooms, but we had to do this impeachment story. We had to show these hearings. It's all on him, man. He's got to go. They got to investigate him. They got to hold him accountable. I'm not going to say he should go to prison, but my evil twin will say he should go away to prison for a very long time.
Schiff's fixation on impeachment didn't just fail. It distracted the government and media from preparing for one of the worst health crises in modern history. While people were getting sick and hospitals were overwhelmed, he was still hammering the same dead-end narrative like a broken record. Gutfeld even joked that Schiff's evil twin thinks he should be in prison. Half joke, but fully rooted in real frustration. And the truth is, you don't have to be a Trump fan to see the danger in politicians who lie to the public just to score points. Schiff didn't just waste time, he wasted trust, weaponizing his committee chair to target enemies under guise of intelligence oversight. And when it all collapsed, he pivoted to victimhood like it was an Olympic sport. Then, after being booted from the Intelligence Committee, what does he do? He announces he's running for Senate, complete with a slick ad full of cliches about protecting democracy and fighting extremism, all while ignoring the elephant in the room, his own record deception.
Congressman Adam Schiff announced this morning he's running for U.S. Senate in California, which is guaranteed to boost U-Haul rentals headed for Texas. He unveiled the highly polished and produced political ad right on the heels of getting booted from the House Intel Committee. Coincidence? I think.
Bill Maher saw right through it, pointing out the growing frustration among voters, especially in California, who are sick of leaders that talk big but deliver nothing. Schiff's Senate campaign is built on the same tired playbook: bash Trump, invoke democracy, and dodge every real issue. When Maher pressed him on cultural hot-button topics like men competing in women's sports, Schiff danced around the question like a ballerina on a minefield, refusing to commit or give a straight answer. It was just another reminder that he's a politician too scared to say what he really believes, and voters are catching on.
The Atlantic put out an article last year, and it was called "Separating Sports by Sex Doesn't Make Sense."
Right.
And talked about how we separate sports like the WNBA just because it's just socialization. This is insane.
I agree.
Okay. That's why people vote for Trump. Mm-hmm. Because there's stuff like that on the left that people just go, I know Trump's horrible, but separating by sports by sex makes perfect sense.
And that's the problem. People are done with vague, spineless answers. Whether you agree or disagree with a policy, at least have the backbone to say what you stand for. But Schiff's constant dodging isn't strategy, it's cowardice. His hypocrisy was on full display when a judge was arrested for helping an illegal immigrant evade ICE. And instead of defending or condemning the action, Schiff shrugged it off, claiming he didn't know enough to comment. Seriously? This is the same man who had endless commentary when it came to Trump, but suddenly loses his voice when accountability might touch his own side. That's not leadership. It's selective outrage, and voters are starting to see right through it.
What did you read about the judge today that was arrested by? I mean, it's such a new story. I didn't want to bring it up during the show because I don't know enough about it. But there was a judge in Milwaukee. I guess it was a hearing for an illegal immigrant, definitely an illegal immigrant, and the ICE people came in to arrest this person, and apparently the judge spirited the person out the back door. That's what I read. Don't know if it's true because I don't trust anybody until I do a full vetting of it. But if this is and so the FBI came in and arrested the judge. Now, I haven't heard that. Maybe I'm wrong, but I don't think I've ever read arrested a judge. So is this significant?
Well, I think
I'm not going to comment on something I don't know more about than what you've just told me.
You read about it too.
Yeah, I mean, I read about it, but I don't know.
So you don't trust anything either, and you work for the New York Times.
Well,
Adam Schiff is the same guy who chased every half-baked story about Trump with laser focus, yet suddenly plays clueless when it comes to immigration and law enforcement. You can't have it both ways. You can't claim to be a defender of justice and then look the other way when your own side screws up, because that's not justice. That's politics, and Americans are sick of it. Schiff's censured by the House for promoting the fake Trump-Russia collusion hoax, making him only the 26th member in U.S. history to earn that dishonor. It wasn't just about the punishment. It was about the symbolism. Washington finally saying enough to the lies, the theater, and the smug, self-righteous posturing from a politician who's done nothing to actually help everyday Americans.
Just pop their dentures when Schiff finally gets censored. And so the House condemns the lies of the man with the zombie eye. Last night, the House voted on party lines to censure Adam Schiff for promoting the Trump-Russia collusion hoax, which was as believable as Brian Kilmeade getting fan mail. 2 for 2. Schiff becomes only the 26th member ever to be censured, but to his credit, he's still the only member to have a 12.
Adam Schiff has done nothing to fix inflation, address the border crisis, or lower California's crushing cost of living. He's been too busy chasing headlines and crafting MSNBC sound bites. Greg Gutfeld's takedown of his Senate bid wasn't just mockery. It was a warning that if voters want lies, deflection, and empty rhetoric, Schiff's their guy. But if they want results in integrity and leadership, it's time to move on. Schiff built his career on outrage, from hyping the bogus dossier to dodging accountability once it collapsed, never offering solutions, only the next speech or campaign. Now, as he angles for the Senate, Californians should be insulted by his political ambition disguised as public service. The cracks are showing, and whether it's Gutfeld, Bill Maher, or everyday voters, the message is clear. Schiff has become the poster boy for everything people hate about Washington. If you're tired of lies, manipulation, and political theater, then it's time to hold him accountable and demand leaders who are honest, bold, and truly care about real people.